So the first order of business is just unbox everything. This is a complete package. They give you the pump, the impeller, the tank that holds sand. You have to buy the sand separately. They give you a 6-position valve. And they give you pretty good instructions on how it all goes together and how to properly use the filter. So they package everything pretty neatly. First thing I'm going to assemble is the large particle filter assembly. They put all that in one box. There is a nut that goes on the filter assembly that secures it to the filter, or to the pump rather. And then the filter basket goes in. That filters out the large debris. You get an O-ring to seal it up, a cover, and then a retainer ring. Just kind of fitting all the pieces together, reading the instructions as I go. All of it goes together one way and one way only. It's pretty well designed. And with that, we're going to take it outside. So this was the filter that came with the pool. This pool is an 18-foot diameter Coleman. It's 48 inches deep. It comes with this little pump and filter that uses cartridges. I changed cartridges all last summer and I'm pretty well over that. And so the Intex filter is going to be a major upgrade. So we're going to do away with the little filter for now. And here comes the big boy. And of course it's not level. I'm going to have to get my shovel and make a level spot for this filter. Uh-oh. So with the snake gone, I can get back to work. And that's close enough for government work. Now here is what is truly awesome about this whole setup. The hoses that came with the Coleman pool connect directly to the brand new Intex pool filter model 2800SX. I didn't have to use any adapters at all. Everything plumbed right up. The threads were the same. It didn't leak. It worked perfectly. So I'm carefully going to add some sand. This is the filter media for this new filter. There are markings on the column inside the tank that tell you how high minimum and ideal. And of course, not to be outdone by anyone, I fill it up to the max level. And that ought to do it. Once I got it poured in, kind of spread it around a little bit. A little shaking. I'm going to zoom in and you can see I'm right at the max mark. and that's how I like to run it. So they give you 3 pipes or tubes that come with the Intex filter. I'm going to use the short one to connect the filter pump to the filter media tank. I'm not reading the instructions anymore. It seemed pretty self-evident how this all goes together. So the way the 6-way valve connects to the filter tank is with this collar. It's got bolts on both sides. Just screw those in there, tighten it down real good, and you don't have any leaks. Alright, and so the supply line for the pool connects directly to the output on the filter. And again, no adapters were required. All the threads lined up. There were no leaks. It all worked perfectly. I use one of the supplied hoses to connect to the drain side of the 6-way valve. I'll note that they include a sight glass, but as short as this hose is, I don't really look at the sight glass. I just look at the water that comes out of the drain hose. Alright, so now I'm reading the instructions, trying to figure out how to fill the filter tank with water, and I got it all figured out. The instructions are not that hard to follow. All of these steps are in the instructions that tell you how to run the initial startup. And now I've engaged the filter mode of the valve, so it is recirculating water, dirty water from the pool through the filter media and then back out to the pool. I'm going to let this run overnight. I'm going to be honest, I sure wish my yard was this green. But if I'm also being honest, I'm not seeing a lot of difference in what the pump alone has done. I'm beginning to see some back pressure showing up on the gauge on the filter pump itself. And so I'm going to do my first backwash operation to clean the filter media. And we're getting rid of some really green water out of the filter media itself. So I'm looking at a lot of green water. I don't know how long this is going to take, and I'm trying to get this done on the weekend. And so at this point, I've made the executive decision. I am going to drain the pool of all that nasty water. I'm going to clean the inside of the pool as required to get rid of all the algae and everything that's growing inside of it. And then I'll refill the pool. This procedure will cost me probably around 40 to 50 bucks on my water bill. but I could spend that much on chemicals trying to clean that nasty water up anyway. So once I started draining the pool, I could see that there wasn't a whole lot of algae growth on the pool walls itself or on the floor. Now, don't do this. Please don't do this. This is dangerous. I took my old filter pump and set it on a milk crate, set it inside the pool. That's a 120 volt circuit feeding that pump. Don't ever get in the pool with an electric line in there like that. I'm just trying to hurry this along, and so I'm using the old filter and pump to empty the tank, to empty the pool as quickly as I can. But don't ever get in the pool with that electric cord in there like that. This was about as empty as I could get the pool. The bottom of my pool is not flat, and I'm okay with that. You see some dark areas in the pool, and those are not, in person, those are not that dark. I think the camera is trying to do some color enhancement, and so it's making the light areas more bright than they normally are, or they were in person, and so the dark areas are also a little darker than they were in person. But I've decided it's time to refill the pool. I'm using water hoses, so this shouldn't take too long. So this is the next day. While I was at it, I went ahead and installed the supply nozzle that come with the Intex filter. It also has an aeration setting on it, and I've engaged that as well. After I got the pool filled with tap water, I employed these 4 products to help clean up the water, to clear the water. So there's some algicide and clarifier on the top left, some chlorine stabilizer on the top right. Without that, your chlorine will dissipate in a matter of a few hours. Bottom left is some Super Shock just to get things rolling. And then I dropped in a couple of those 3-inch chlorinating pool tabs in the float right there, just to kind of maintain the chlorine level, try to keep it at a consistent level. I added some more of the chlorine stabilizer. That's what you see in the bottom of the pool there. It hasn't quite dissolved just yet. But so far I'm pretty pleased with how all this has turned out. The filter is putting out a lot of volume. I think it under load does 2,100 gallons. I'm going to test the pool water now that I've added all those pool products to it. And pretty easy test. Focus. There we go. And so the top one here is free chlorine level, and looks like I'm somewhere kind of ideal. I'm not too terribly upset with how that turned out. The next test we're looking at is the pH level, which is kind of low a little bit. After that is alkalinity. That's out of range. Hardness looks okay. It's minimum. It's at the minimum level. I didn't realize I was going to have to become a chemist when I bought a pool, but I guess that cyanuric acid is in the ideal range, or it's close enough to ideal that I'm not going to worry about it. So the filter's been running for a day or two. The back pressure is not that bad. I'm going to go through the backwash procedure now. I'm just starting the backwash, and even though the pool water is very clear, the filter has trapped enough contaminants to cause the drain water to be discolored. Again, we're going to run this for a minute, 2 minutes, however long it takes it to go from that yucky green to crystal clear. And I'm going to tell you, this is so much better than having to change a filter cartridge every week. So that's pretty well clear there. Next up is after the backwash, we do a rinse, and that rinses all the plumbing stuff inside the valve out. So we kind of got that dirty water again. This step doesn't take nearly as long because we didn't have the volume inside the valve assembly itself. So that's done, and now I switch the valve back over to filter so that it circulates water from the pool through the filter media back into the pool. And I'm going to call this a finished restoration. Transformation is complete. As a side note, I did add a pool skimmer to the side of this pool. I'm excited about this because leaves and debris that float, if it gets over to this skimmer in time, it may not go to the bottom. And so this seems to be pretty effective at skimming all of the trash off the surface of the water, and it does it before a lot of it gets to the bottom. Now I've got some plans for cleaning up the bottom of the pool with a vacuum hose. If you want to see that, you'll just have to subscribe and hit the notification so you don't miss that. But that's going to be about wrapping this video up. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.